Netflix won't be renewing the Sussex's $100 million contract, but may make one-off shows with them going forward just in case they get divorced. So journalist and screenwriter Marina Hyde told the Daily Mail that other streamers may also fight to work with the couple to keep a vague hand in if one day Meghan and Harry split. That's a bit grim, I must say. But do you think that's probably part of the reason behind why people are keeping this relationship going with them?
Because Meghan's team have already signalled that a post-divorce book could be in the works. You remember that Vanity Fair story in January where it was alleged that her team were, quote, shopping it around to unnamed publishers.
Wow.
So, you know, there's already a plan B, I think, underway for her. So clearly Netflix want to make sure they retain the rights to any post-divorce interview, because it would just blow Diana and their previous interview with Oprah right out of the water. Money could not buy the publicity and the exposure you would get if you were the streamer who owned that content, and everyone will be competing for it. So I'm not surprised. Look, I know Marina, she's very expert in this area, so I do place a lot of strength on what she's saying. I think there's definitely a strategy with Netflix there, kind of dressed up in, well, we already had part 2 of Meghan's show underway anyway. We're always going to do it, but clearly they want to make sure they get the interview when, not if, but when it happens.
When that happens, and that seems to be the speculation as well.
It does.
People are looking at the clock with that one. Let's talk about Disney's Snow White. I want to get your thoughts on what you make of it. Some of the commentary around the movie has been slammed. I think we have a bit of a trailer. Let's play it for you.
Like the Queen. Change everything.
Take him away!
Your Majesty.
What did you say?
The people need some kindness.
You know, I really don't remember you being this opinionated. Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
Famed is thy beauty, Majesty. But a lovely maiden I now behold.
I look at you, and I just want to be the fairest of them all.
It's interesting. This follows a series of scandals and PR nightmares around the movie. Disney scaled back the planned lavish premiere for the show to have only a handful of tightly controlled media there. The film has been branded as woke over fears it's prioritised messaging over authentic storytelling. What's your sense of how this is being received?
Well, the fact that Disney didn't back themselves in and have the big sort of global premiere, I thought was very, very telling indeed. And although a lot of reviewers have said critically it's actually quite a nice film to watch, what will matter is the box office takings. Who of the general public are actually going to pay money to see a reworked version of Snow White where there's no prince? You can't mention dwarves. They're like little sort of magical creatures instead. And Snow White's being reimagined as a leader rather than someone who has to be woken up from a deep sleep from a poison apple by her prince and then finds true love. So I don't know why we have to constantly blow up these sort of childhood narratives. It's so tiresome,
but we all
isn't
love,
it?
I
Totally.
love those stories.
We love those stories, and they're a great morality teaching tool, but you don't realise that at the time when you're reading the book or when your mother takes you to see, a movie, or you read The Hungry Caterpillar and, 30 years later you're told it's not diverse enough. It's just crazy. Rather than force-feeding the leadership narrative, you can probably get a lot of great lessons just by being a child and reading the book rather than being told what to think all the time, which I think is diabolical.
I couldn't agree more. Louise Roberts, News Corp columnist, thank you so much for joining us.